All right, so heading on into our time-shifted feature match here. It looks like we've got some more blue-white enchantments on one side of the board, or maybe Jessica, I see a triome there. And on our
Yeah,
on our left side, we have some green-white Field of the Dead. And again, this is an open decklist tournament, so I feel like if you see this hand as green-white Field, you're ecstatic to have it against the aggro deck.
yes. First hand had a lot of 7-drops. This hand has 2 Wraths, 2 Explorers. This is, it doesn't get better. There are not better hands in the deck.
Looks like probably going to see a mulligan on the blue-white side here. I don't think you can keep a one-lander. You're on the draw, so like maybe you want to be speculative. All right, they are braver than I am.
Alpha wants it. They believe in themselves. I like it. So what you got to remember here is you have to be lucky to win the tournament.
Sure.
So if you already have to be lucky to win, you might as well just take all the luck and keep the one-landers.
But do you worry that you might use up your cumulative variance by hitting a land drop here early in the tournament?
That's fair, but I think if I want to, I think I want to use my cumulative variance on the feature match.
Okay,
so
sure.
People think I'm good, right?
Sure. Yeah, I like it. So Hepshet Oasis here, one of the deserts coming in from the new set. Now, notable here that Arcane is missing their second white source, and I think we kind of saw them have a nod to this in their mulligan decision where they bottomed the Wrath of God but kept the extra Explorer to get more looks at their second white.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think that Wrath of God is just, it's much worse than Settle in this matchup.
Yeah, Not only are there Adonto Vanguards, but you see there's Kamantra's Blessings on top, etc. And Alpha's gamble is not paying off here, and I think we're going to slide pretty quickly into garbage time.
All right, so we were wondering what is the weakness of the blue-white deck, and I think we found it here. The weakness is believing in yourself too much. You got to believe in yourself just the right amount.
Yes, just the correct amount of belief. So I assume we're going to see just a miscellaneous land. Oh, Cascading Cataracts. That was a lovely one that got added to the format.
Indestructible for reasons.
Sure, because why not? I mean, do you want your Cataracts to be destructible, Nick?
I guess not. I don't. Oh, all right. Approach. For players who don't know about this card, it is a 7-mana sorcery. When you cast it, you gain 7 life, and then if you cast it a second time during the game, you instantly win. So it doesn't matter where you're at. It's just the game is over. And I think
now something that is noteworthy here, because there is a Golos and a Cascading Cataracts in play. Approach notably has to be cast from your hand the second time you cast it. So if you spin Golos and hit Approach off spinning Golos, you don't actually win the game.
Oh, I hope that happens. I hope we get the spin into the Approach, cast it, and then just the long tank. The long, I don't understand what's happening here. So I was talking with
this is super neat.
Yes. Yeah, I was talking with Mason Clark, who posted this decklist on Twitter, which I assume is where these people found it, or they were just working on it independently. You know, nothing in Magic is original. But this card, this Labyrinth here, is actually for this matchup. The idea is, in a lot of situations, you effectively block most of their threats on the ground with all your zombies, but they usually have one large flying threat, and if you can counteract, it doesn't really matter this game.
I was gonna say, Bob, we were actually excited about different things. The thing that I thought was neat about that Rejuvenator is that it cleared 5 cards off the top of the deck to immediately redraw Approach 2 turns later.
Oh, that's cool too.
Yeah,
I didn't even see that.
It's incredible. So like the Rejuvenator cleared. Because it doesn't search your deck, it just impulses 5, right?
It just flips over.
Yep. Just like the Settle the Wreckage here for the rub-ins.
Dang.
What is that Labyrinth called? It's Labyrinth of what?
I have no idea. Labyrinth of Bad Maids of Ith.
Labyrinth of Bad Maids of Ith. There's so many things that have Labyrinth in their name, and I'm trying to find it.
Wait. Labyrinth.
Oh, Labyrinth of Scopolis. There's the one.
I will let you know that if you type in Labyrinth of Bad Maids of Ith into Google, the first thing is the spoiler for Labyrinth of Scopolis on spikes, because Google is great.
That's fantastic.
All right, so what we got here?
So our players are sideboarding. I think we're going to see Gideon's Triumph and Baffling Ends and Subtle Wreckage. This green-white deck has obviously come to play in this matchup.
Yep. The Gideon's Triumphs are also similar to the Labyrinth. There's a lot of... it gets around the dog is the big thing, because you have the dog, but you can't attack with it because it's on the ground. And there's like 2/2 zombies. So then they attack with their big flyer or their big unblockable creature, and you're able to just cleanly answer that with a 2-mana removal spell, or just trade it off on 2. That's also
Yep.
good.
Yeah, and this really shows like decks that are trying to be interactive are much better in formats where the things that they need to be interacting with are more well defined, right? So like I don't think Gideon's Triumph is a card that you even think to register unless you know this blue-white deck exists and know that its play patterns are something you need to be prepared for.
Yeah, and it was around last format and was possibly the best deck in that format. So
yeah,
it's not
I think so.
That Alpha or that Arcane Nor is ready for this matchup.
Yep. So decent, okay hand from Arcane. No settle in the opener, makes it a little bit weaker than last game, but we do have a Blaststone, which is pretty reasonable in this matchup.
Blaststone's quite good, and also like there is one of the really powerful things about this field deck is your powerful linear hands of just explore into Rejuvenator into I guess Hour of Promise. That's going to go toe to toe with a lot of the good hands from Alpha, even if you don't have that much interaction.
Yep. No fear here on Alpha side of the board, just like snapping off the one lander again here on 6.
Yeah, I mean, so they do have a lot of cumulative variance from last game.
That's true. They're due.
They're due. All right, there we go. All right, so I mean, we're definitely playing this game. I think.
Sure, yeah, and like even if the Blaststone comes down, Kamantra's Blessing is there waiting to protect it.
Yeah, it's probably just a one of Blaststone. I might like getting just more pressure on the table in this spot.
Listen, Nick, I know you're biased for the Field of the Dead deck, so I'm going to need you to stop recommending that we take place the Die to Blaststone. Look, I know whose team you're on here.
I am on the team of fun and having more. So Field of the Dead, you put a bunch of lands into play. And in Commander, you put a bunch of lands into play. And Commander is the most fun format. So therefore, Field of the Dead is actually the most fun Magic deck.
Okay, and this is an interesting choice. So we're playing out Adanto Vanguard, seeing the Blast Zone in play.
Yeah, well, I think
you're like encouraging them to like say, okay, do it so that way you can load up on the Vanguard. I guess I don't hate that.
I think that's actually good for you, right? If they take their whole turn, I think what's actually going to happen here is much worse for the opponent.
Yeah,
right?
we're going to see a land, and then Hour of Promise is going to get a Field of the Dead and a 7th land.
It's Land Explore. That's land 7. Hour of Promise, 2 field, 7 zombies.
Oh, God.
14 power, pass turn. Have fun.
Oh, are we missing it? I think we're missing that line.
That's it. All right, but you at home. Explore costs 1 mana when you have a second land in your hand, so they could have explored first, which I think is better, but this game is also going really fast, so I can't do any math.
No, I think your counting is correct. It looks like they're prioritizing getting other utility lands out here, which is probably fine too. So like Nick's line sets the Field of the Dead player up to kill faster, but having Labyrinth as an insurance plane doesn't seem terrible.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think opponent is clearly saying, I don't think this game is coming down to having zombies. I think I have enough life that just the meager amount of zombies are going to be enough, especially with Golos next turn, right? Like,
sure,
Golos Explore, there will be plenty of zombies. They will be here.
Yeah, and you already have the Cascading Cataract in your hand, so like Golos can get a second Field of the Dead for you because you can already have the Cataracts to activate it.
Right. So unsurprisingly, Arcane Nor, person playing the deck, knows more than me, person commentating. I love Ginger Brute. I think Ginger Brute is one of my favorite designs.
It's a very subtly powerful card in the decks that get to play it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you read the text box on this card, and you're like, that's not very good. And then, like, you see how it plays out in practice, and you're like, oh, this card's just, like, mostly unblockable.
Yeah, it's unblockable. It's a food, which is sweet.
It is a food. It is a snack.
The gaining life in the aggro mirrors actually comes up a good bit, right? You, like, block their Bone Crusher Giant, sack it in like before damage.
Sure.
That's a 7-point life swing. That I can definitely swing a game.
I wonder if we're gonna see like we've committed Ginger Brute here to the board, and like again, this Blast Zone is on the table and it's heads up. So like, is this Ginger Brute enough for Arcane Nord to be like, okay, I should probably blast their zones?
I don't know. I think you can blast them plus Golos this turn, so that's probably good.
Okay, taking a little bit of a different route here. Looks like
whatever. I think it's rough. I think as alpha, you have to feel like I have to commit more things to get my opponent to pop the blast zone, and then when they just don't
do it. Yeah, sure. And
Yeah.
a card like Blast Zone does work just by sitting in play, right?
Yep. You just get further and further behind.
Yep. And now we're generating enough zombies that the game's going to end relatively quickly. And the Cascading Cataract comes down and is going to threaten Golos, drawing 3 cards every turn effectively.
Yep. Also has up the Gideon's Triumph. You probably tag that Ginger Brute.
Yep.
It's really cool to me when you see cards like Gideon's Triumph that for most of their life in Magic were just like mediocre limited card. But then, somebody went into the Gatherer search and found that this specific card was good for this specific matchup and this specific deck with the limitations.
Excuse me, Nick. We're a stream of culture.
Sorry, Scryfall. We don't talk about the scary place.
The Gatherer doesn't even acknowledge Historic as a real format when you try to search formats on it, so...
Yeah, so Scryfall with their fancy full res images and good search format.
Yep.
Gideon's Triumph was found there.
Trying to figure out if you're on alpha side of the board, how much do you tap out each turn? Are you supposed to hold things up? Like I almost feel like if you're on alpha side of the board, you have some incentive to start holding up Kamantra's Blessings here to like punish them for taking so long to use the Blast Zone. But at the same time, I don't know if you're actually going to be able to race these zombies, right? Like you're at 14 and they have 9 zombies in play, so you're kind of just dead in that respect.
I agree that Alpha is probably dead. I respect them trying to figure it out.
I guess you have like Kamantra's Blessing on your lifelink creature here. Okay, so we're drawing, so we're trying to hit a land. I like it. So you get a white source. Nope.
Just lose to Blast Zone, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, we lose.
I'm pretty sure they actually just lose to Blast Zone, right? They've got 21 power.
Yep.
Block 5 of it. Yeah, it is just game. And they lose their Curious Possessions because you can't attack.
Yep.
Which is... That text is funny to me because it implies that, like, there are games where you aren't attacking with your Curious Obsession, but also still have the ability to win. So it needs to fall off to be balanced or something.
Okay, here's our promise. We actually missed on an untapped land there on that Golos activation, so we actually can't Golos and Blast Zone this turn, which is like a Scotch Awk, but are they still dead? So they block Golos, and they block 3 zombies. And then
there are 6 coming across. That's 12. Yeah, I mean, so they live.
Sure.
Which is good, I guess.
And we have, on Arcane side, we have the Approach Rejuvenator set up again here, so...
Yeah, they're one card... it's one card farther down this time.
But we have a cycle land, so like...
We have cycle land, yeah.
So we have the Approach win or the Zombie win the following turn.
Right, and I think here you just jam with all the zombies and force blocks.
Yep. Because if Arcane attacks with every... Oh, wait, I guess you technically don't force them to block with everything because they have lifelink. So you can, like, if you're on Alpha side, you get to keep one thing.
Yeah, you've got 12 zombies on defense. I think you'll be able to figure it out here.
All right, and Alpha's just like, nope, we're done. Throwing in the towel. And I think that's probably a pretty accurate, reasonable conclusion there.
All right, so just so we know, Field of the Dead, 2-0 on camera.
2-0 on camera. It's not... I want to pull up the tournament so that way Bob can get his reality checked here a little bit.
Those results aren't real. The only results that are real are on the camera. That's why we put only the best matches on the camera.
Only the best matches.
Right. So if they're not winning on camera, those were just bad matches.
So after round 1, looks like Sultai lands at a 6-5 record. Does green white? How did Selesnya ramp do? Selesnya ramp went 2-1 in the first round, and that was obviously a round 2 match. So for this tournament, it looks like we currently have I don't think I can see matches remaining here. In my tournament dashboard, I could look and see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches still outstanding. I'm gonna take a peek here and see if we can get at least half of one of those here before we cut to break.